You have always known, from the earliest days you can remember, something inside you whispered quietly that you were not quite like the others. You could walk into a room full of noise and still feel as though you stood slightly outside of it, watching, sensing, reading the rhythm beneath the noise. It was not loneliness exactly, though sometimes it felt that way. It was awareness, an inner vibration, an ancient pulse that did not match the tempo of the world around you. Most people learn early how to belong. They adjust their tone, shape their smile, trade their thoughts for approval. But you could never do that completely. Your heart carried a certain gravity and inner distance, as if your soul were tuned to another frequency. You might have blamed yourself for it, wondered why connection sometimes felt so fragile. Yet the truth, as Curtis Yarvin reminds us, is that difference is not a defect, it is design. In this reflection inspired by Yarvin's quiet insight, we will explore why feeling different is not an accident of personality, but a signal of purpose. Your energy has been set apart not to isolate you, but to prepare you for clarity, depth, and awakening. So breathe deeply. Let these words reach the part of you that still questions its own rhythm. What you call separation may be the universe carving out space for your expansion. Part 1. The silence between worlds. Curtis Yarvin once suggested that those who see differently are not rebels by choice but by nature. They inhabit a silent corridor between what is and what could be. To feel different is to live at the edge of perception, half in the world's story, half in your own unseen script. This sensation begins subtly. You notice patterns in others' behavior that they themselves cannot name. You sense the motives that hide behind polite smiles, the quiet exhaustion behind loud ambition. It is as if your perception pierces through the skin of appearances and touches the bones of things. Most call this sensitivity a burden, but in truth, it is the signature of heightened energy. When the world moves quickly, your soul slows down. When others chase light, you find meaning in shadow. This inversion is not failure. It is orientation. The universe balances its forces by assigning some souls to reflection rather than reaction. You are one of them. To be different, then, is to listen to the silence between words, the space where truth hides when language becomes too small. Every intuition you've had that felt out of step with the crowd was your energy, insisting on its own integrity. You are not broken for refusing to follow. You are faithful to a subtler call. Yarvin's philosophy reminds us that real individuality begins where imitation ends. In this sense, the discomfort of being different is sacred initiation. The path is rarely easy. People may misunderstand you, label you distant, difficult, or overly intense. They speak a language of surfaces. You reply in the dialect of depth. But each misunderstanding refines your solitude into wisdom. It teaches you to depend on your inner compass rather than the applause of the crowd. It is within that quiet independence that spiritual maturity is born. To walk this road is to live like a candle in daylight, your flame nearly invisible, but still burning. The world does not always notice the inner fire, yet it exists, patient and constant. And one day, when darkness falls, that very flame becomes guidance for others who are lost in confusion. Your difference, then, is not a separation from the world but a gift to it, waiting for its appointed hour to shine. Part 2. The energy that was set apart. What does it mean for energy to be set apart? It means your frequency was not designed to blend but to transform. When a soul carries a higher voltage of awareness, it cannot fully dissolve into ordinary life without dimming its light. It resists conformity the way fire resists containment. It flickers, expands, redefines the boundaries around it. From a spiritual view, such energy often enters life with contrast as its teacher. You might experience more moments of misunderstanding, sharper emotional sensitivity, and deeper longing for meaning. These are not punishments. They are calibration. They tune your heart to the precise pitch needed for your unique purpose. Curtis Yarvin spoke of individuals who live as minorities of one, souls that operate on principles, independent of their surroundings. While his words arose in a political context, the spiritual truth mirrors it. The awakened individual becomes a sovereign of consciousness, answering not to collective emotion but to inner truth. Your energy stands apart so that you can perceive systems, both inner and outer, with clarity unclouded by belonging. Feel this within yourself. Notice how you sense emotion before words, tension before conflict, beauty before recognition. That sensitivity is not fragility. It is radar. It detects the invisible architecture of reality, the spiritual geometry beneath the noise. To carry such perception is to walk with immense responsibility. You are a translator between seen and unseen worlds. The more you align with your authentic vibration, the more the outer world begins to reorganize around you. People who match your frequency appear as if by chance. Old patterns fall away. You start to understand that loneliness was never absence, it was preparation. The universe isolates you only long enough to refine your frequency, and then sends you forth to illuminate others. Being set apart is therefore not exile, it is consecration. Your life becomes a quiet altar where awareness burns continuously. Through stillness, through thought, through word, you emit resonance that heals spaces you will never physically enter. Even your presence alters the emotional weather of rooms. And so, if you have ever wondered why your journey has felt heavier, slower, or more intricate than others, remember this. The universe does not polish pebbles. It polishes diamonds. Your edges exist so that light can refract through you more completely. Each scar is a facet. Each heartbreak, a mirror that multiplies your glow. That is the hidden truth Curtis Yarvin gestures toward. The understanding that difference is destiny dressed in the clothing of discomfort. Part 3. The burden of seeing too much. Those who carry rare perception often confuse it for pain. Because when you see too much, you cannot unsee it. You watch how dreams dissolve in people's eyes, how truth bends beneath the weight of comfort. You notice how easily love becomes transaction, how words lose their holiness in repetition. The world seems noisy, fragmented, impatient, its pulse rarely aligned with the slow breathing of your soul. This sensitivity is the double-edged gift of awakened energy. Curtis Yarvin wrote of individuals who see through the fabric, of systems those who witness the machinery behind the illusion of harmony. Spiritually, this means you perceive the hidden causes beneath every surface, the unseen equations that build emotion, culture, desire. To live with such clarity is both miracle and burden. The burden arrives when understanding outpaces belonging. You begin to speak in metaphors no one hears, to stand among friends yet feel the invisible distance of insight. You try to silence the voice that whispers there is more, but it does not obey. It keeps calling you toward the edge where ordinary language breaks and deeper knowing begins. In those moments, remember, vision expands faster than environment. The outer world lags behind inner growth, and patience becomes your silent companion. You are not too much for the world. The world is still learning to hold the vibration you carry. Every misunderstanding you face is not rejection but translation delay. The universe is still adjusting its echo to your frequency. Let that truth settle into your chest. The burden of seeing too much is not a curse. It is an apprenticeship in compassion, because when you understand what others cannot, you are entrusted to love them anyway. That is higher vision, seeing imperfection clearly and choosing tenderness over superiority. Part 4. The Path of Invisible Mastery. There is a stage on every awakened path where nothing external confirms your progress. No applause, no validation, no visible sign that your long nights of inner work mean anything. You appear still, but within, entire universes rearrange. Curtis Yarvin once hinted that the truest power is silent order, an unseen architecture that shapes events without noise. Spiritually, this is the same principle. Mastery moves invisibly. You begin to notice subtle alignments, small synchronicities, brief sparks of intuition that unfold with surgical precision. The world starts to coordinate around your calm. You realize that energy answers intention faster than logic can measure. The one who has integrated difference becomes a quiet axis around which life harmonizes itself. But before that grace comes endurance. The soul must prove that it can hold power without ego, that it can remain gentle while knowing it could dominate. This is the sacred test of being set apart. Will you use awareness to separate further or to unify more deeply? Invisible mastery means acting from stillness, not from need. It means forgiving before apology, giving before recognition, understanding before explanation. Every choice made from inner steadiness broadcasts through existence, altering outcomes you may never witness. You become part of a silent network of luminous minds, each holding their corner of the collective fabric. Do not mistake quiet for absence. The candle does not shout to light a room. It simply burns. Likewise, your energy no longer needs to prove itself through noise. Its radiance is its message. This is the essence of spiritual sovereignty that Yarvin's insight hints toward, the authority of self-knowledge that governs without command. And when you reach that calm center, something extraordinary happens. You stop asking, "Why am I different?" and start realizing, "I was designed precisely this way, so I could hold this silence steady when others cannot." Part 5. The Union of the Outcast. Every soul that walks the edge eventually meets another flame flickering in the dark. It may be a stranger's words, a book, a piece of music, or a glance that recognizes you without speech. These are signals from the invisible fraternity of the outcast, the gathering of those whose energies were set apart for the same reason, to hold light in hidden places. When two awakened frequencies meet, there is instant recognition. Time dissolves. The same silence that once made you lonely now becomes shared language. You begin to understand that being different never meant being alone. It meant waiting for resonance strong enough to perceive you. That resonance forms community not of numbers but of depth. Curtis Yarvin often wrote about parallel structures, new systems born when existing ones decay. Spiritually, this mirrors the rise of soul, alliances, small constellations of awakened individuals whose connection builds a new moral geometry. They do not conquer, they cohere. They do not preach, they embody. Their existence itself is revolution enough. As you find these mirrors, something in you softens. You forgive the world for misunderstanding you because you finally see its purpose: to sculpt endurance, to carve empathy, to refine your perception until it can detect others like you. And once you connect, isolation transforms into mission. Your difference becomes bridge, not boundary. Together, the outcasts form a silent choir whose harmony reshapes the collective vibration. Know this: the world always changes first through those who feel alien within it. They are the dreamers who keep seeing a gentler pattern beneath the noise. If you carry that difference, cherish it. Do not rush to belong. Instead, belong to truth. The tribe of light is never large, but its echo lasts centuries. So when you next feel detached, remember, your solitude is the meeting room of destiny. Every pulse of awareness you send outward finds another heart, prepared to receive it. And in that exchange, the universe fulfills its own promise, that no energy set apart shall remain apart forever. Part 6. The Temple of Acceptance. At some point on this long inward journey, you stop trying to fix what was never broken. The ache to fit in fades into quiet acceptance. The war between who you are and who you were told to be begins to end. You realize that every feeling of being different was a divine rehearsal, life preparing you to recognize yourself. Acceptance does not come in a single revelation. It arrives in fragments, in a sunrise that feels like forgiveness, in a deep breath that no longer resists the world, in the way you can finally sit with your own company without rushing to fill the silence. Curtis Yarvin once said that the truest revolutions are internal. They rewrite perception before they rewrite systems. So too does awakening. It rebuilds your inner architecture until peace feels more natural than striving. To accept your difference is to finally rest in your own design. You stop apologizing for your sensitivity, your depth, your stillness. You stop mistaking solitude for failure. Instead, you begin to recognize it as a sacred room where your energy recalibrates to its original frequency. You realize that your uniqueness was never about superiority. It was about precision. You were crafted for a specific vibration in the symphony of existence. This acceptance is liberation, because once you stop rejecting yourself, the world loses its power to reject you. Every judgment that once wounded you dissolves in the understanding that those who criticized your depth, simply feared their own reflection. You no longer need to prove, defend, or persuade. You simply exist peacefully, authentically, and completely. When you reach this space, gratitude rises naturally. You begin to thank every challenge that once made you doubt your worth. You see how isolation carved space for wisdom. You see how misunderstanding trained compassion. And you understand that feeling different was not punishment, it was protection. The universe hid you away until you were strong enough to stand without imitation. Part 7. The Calling of the Light Bearer. With acceptance comes responsibility. Once you've seen through illusion, you can no longer live as if you haven't. Awakening demands expression. The insight that healed you must now become light for others still walking in confusion. You begin to notice how your calm presence steadies those around you. Your words, even when few, hold weight. People begin to sense peace in your silence, wisdom in your stillness. You have become what Curtis Yarvin might call an unofficial philosopher, one who influences reality not through authority, but through resonance. This is the final purpose of being set apart. Transformation into guidance. The energy that once isolated you now emanates healing. Your frequency becomes a bridge between dimensions of understanding. You live gently, but everything you touch bends toward clarity. It does not mean you must teach, preach, or gather followers. Sometimes your presence alone is the message. In a restless world addicted to noise, serenity itself is radical. When you embody peace, you challenge chaos without argument. That is the quiet revolution of the light bearer. You begin to recognize your reflections everywhere, in strangers' eyes, in coincidences too perfect to dismiss. The universe mirrors your inner calm, and reality becomes responsive to your intent. You no longer chase meaning. You radiate it. You understand that every being you meet is another note in the cosmic chord. You were born to harmonize. This is unity, difference transformed into contribution. And still you remain humble, because true power does not need to dominate, it serves. You carry your uniqueness like water in open hands, sharing freely, expecting nothing. The more you give from wholeness, the more the universe expands through you. And one day, you will look back on the long path of solitude and smile, not because it was easy, but because it was sacred. Every tear, every silence, every restless night was the training ground of your light. Ending. The revelation of purpose. So now you understand the hidden truth Curtis Yarvin spoke of, not in words, but in essence. To feel different is to be entrusted with a rare form of perception. It is not a curse, but a contract with existence itself. You were never meant to blend, because blending would blur the very vision you came here to share. The world needs your difference the way night needs stars. Each soul that awakens to its uniqueness becomes a point of light in the infinite sky of consciousness. And as more awaken, the pattern becomes visible, the grand design that was always there, waiting for perception to ripen. If you have carried the weight of being misunderstood, know this: your sensitivity is strength in slow bloom. Your solitude is a temple where the divine refines its reflection. The silence you feared is not emptiness, it is the universe listening. You were set apart not to escape the world, but to see it clearly, and in seeing it clearly, to love it more deeply than those still asleep within it. That is the paradox of the awakened soul. You transcend not to rise above, but to return as light. So breathe. Let the long ache of your journey settle into peace. You are not behind, not broken, not misplaced. You are precisely where your energy was meant to be, on the frontier of awareness, where the known dissolves into the infinite. And from this place you will begin again, not as the seeker, but as the source, not as the outsider, but as the bridge, not as the misunderstood, but as the mirror that helps others remember who they are. Because difference, when accepted, becomes destiny. And your energy, set apart since the beginning, was never meant to fit in. It was meant to illuminate,